Hello everyone, welcome to Brain Tech Analytics. Start with today's section. As we already discussed about SQL and what SQL means. SQL means Structured Query Language. It is a language which is used for interacting with the database. Okay, you can say, suppose that I am communicate with you in English. It means the whatever I am deliver, the mode of language is English. By using English language, I am able to communicate with you all. Like that, this is a language of like structured query language. It's used for interacting with the database. Okay, so as I discuss you database, and in database what I have structured data. Okay, and that structured data is again then it comes to the relational database, because all the data is to comes under relational database. And in this relational database we have some tables, and that tables consist of columns and rows. Now understand, SQL is a structured query language. It means it deals with the it deals with the language. You can say it's a mode of language which is used or which is understand by the database. Okay, by using structured query language, we can operate any type of we can perform anything in the database as for our requirement. So when it comes to database we have structured data, and that structured data is present in relational database, and that data is present in the relational database in the forms of table, and that table consists of columns and rows. Okay. Now one of the most interview asked question I am now going to share with you. If you are giving any interviews related to SQL, then the basic questions and recruiter will ask you what's the difference between SQL and MySQL. Okay, so SQL is a language. Okay, so you can say, as I am communicate with you in English, it means English is a language. Like that, if I interact with, suppose I am interact with a human being and I interact with a language, say English, and the mode of communication is English, then I am communicate with an human being or as a person in a language of English, so that that person is understand what I am speaking. So the mode of language is English. Similarly, to interact with database, we have a language called SQL. So SQL is a language, and it's a structured, okay, and it's a structured query language. Like that, what is MySQL means? Okay. What is MySQL means? Any idea? Any about what is MySQL? MySQL is nothing but you can say it is a database server. Okay. SQL and MySQL is the you can expect a questions in your interview, and the recruiter will ask you like what's the difference between SQL and MySQL. So you can explain in your answer by saying like in simple format. SQL is a language, and it's a structured query language which is used for interacting with the database. Okay, by the help of SQL we can interact with the database. And MySQL is a database server where the number of database, okay, database server where number of database number of database are stored, and by using SQL language, by or using SQL, we are doing we are getting output, or we are performing any type of any type of operation, so that we will get the output as for our requirement. So this is the difference between SQL and MySQL. So if you using MySQL tool and there are different database you made, okay, and all the information you're storing inside the database are collected on the database server as well. Okay, because see, MySQL and SQL. SQL is a language, but MySQL workbench are the tools, okay, which is used to connect with the database by using SQL. Suppose in an example, I am showing I have a database. Okay, here I have a database, and inside the data, okay, inside the data I have number of tables. Okay, this is one table, and this is one table, and this is one table. Like that, we have multiple data. Okay, we have in that in this is one relational database which is showing in blue, and within that relational database we have number of tables which is present in a structure format. You can say in a tabular format of by as you can say in the tabular format. It means it's a combination of rows and columns, and in that relational database we have the data which makes a relation between each and every table. Okay, you may be it will be a relation or maybe not, but when we get by performing by SQL language, okay, by performing SQL language, we can get or we can create the relation between the one or two tables or three tables. According to that, by combination of from the all the tables we get the output as a result. So MySQL Workbench is a tool which is used to connect database by using SQL. So by connecting whatever the connecting, suppose I want to connect with this table and this table, then I all this performance or all I do by perform using a language, and that language is called SQL or structured query language. I hope this is the basic theory things you understand now. And now coming to the understanding of interface of MySQL. See, here already I am installed the Microsoft SQL Server Management. Opening, once I open, it take time and wait some, yes, it's opening now. And yes, it is the version which I am using, it's a MS SQL Server 18. Okay, I am using the version of 18. And start with understanding the SQL interface first. So here you see it's written Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, and under that you can see some of the like file, edit, okay, view, tools, windows, and help. There are some you can say you see some of the icons over here, and you can see some of the ribbon part at this time you can see. And in the file, suppose I want to create a new project or new file, then by clicking on this, I can create anything. Suppose I have in my data in my PC, I have created some SQL queries, or I have already files, okay, or have some data, then by directly open, and I can from that from here I can open any type or any files here, any SQL file. Then it comes to save all and print exist like that. So whenever we open, you can see there is a here is called new query. You can see here is showing new query. After opening, clicking on new query, you see and white background is opening at where we are performing our SQL language or SQL code so that we will get the outputs. Now here you see it is a master database. Okay, now it's present in the master database. Now comes into the database. This is a databases. H in this theory I already explained. Under the database, we have the database. These are the database like Adventure Work, okay, GIT, Interview, iPhone 13, Caps. These are the database. And inside that database, we have tables. By expanding table, you can see you are now these things is visible to all that these all are called tables. It means on that that particular database, the tables are present. These are the tables, and yes, by performing and by writing SQL code here. Okay, now as you can see, uh, now it is in the master database. It means the SQL have also have its own database. It's called system database. And you see, this is a master or model MSDB. Okay, temp DB like that. There is a own database. Suppose I want to perform any database or create anything. Then I want to create, or you can say I can choose a particular database, because as of now you can see it is in master database. Okay, it's now in whatever I'm performing here, it will be fetching to the master data or comes under master database. But I don't want to fetch all the in the okay, I don't want to fetch all that data okay into master database. So what I do, I can select either I can create any database, or either I can create or any particular, suppose I want to put the data, okay, or put the table, whatever may be, okay, I on the iPhone 13. So in iPhone 13, once I am select iPhone 13, okay, from here I can change any database where I want to put our data. Suppose I want to put the data in KFC, then I click KFC, then it will be changed. And by performing or by writing anything over here, it will be now insert to the KFC database. Whatever the output and whatever the updation, deletion, like that, okay, anything I perform any changes, it will be impact to the KFC database. Suppose I am here try to rename of any database, then I double click, okay, or you can see I can simply rename, or you can say I can changes here the name of database like that. Okay, so these are the basic interface of okay, these are the basic interface. Okay, and I hope you will all understand about this. In the coming class we are explaining, or we can get in depth of this knowledge and get okay, we can discuss about more about the SQL servers. Till now, practice well and make note whatever we discuss, and see you in the next class.